Hey everybody, Jen Hatmaker here, your host of the For the Love podcast. Welcome to the show. So you guys, right now, we are in a series called For the Love of Food, and I'm trying to think of a series that I have enjoyed more than this one. Just pure enjoyment. I have loved every conversation. I love these food people. I love talking to them. I have so much energy every single time we're on camera, and I want them to go like on and on and on. And today, you guys, is like absolutely no exception. You're going to see. You're going to see how much we laughed and cut up. I went so far off script and off the grid. And so you might know our guest today by his kind of original moniker, the one that we learned him through, which was the Sandwich King. So growing up in Chicago, Jeff Mauro, you know him, you love him. He was super like immersed in really vibrant culinary experiences from an early age, and big family, big kitchen, big energy. And so after going to college, he opened Primetime Deli and Catering. Then he went on to attend Le Cordon Bleu. And then where I met him, and probably you did too, he went on to win the 7th season of Food Network Star, which was really his launching pad. He ended up with his own Food Network show, Sandwich King, and now he's such a clever and funny co-host on The Kitchen. And we talk about this too. He's at the beginning of the pandemic, he started Come On Over podcast with his sister, and it's just so funny and wild and irreverent. We're going to talk about this as well. He delivers his mouth-watering delights right to your doorstep through Mauro Provisions. And he's the host of the brand new show, Kitchen Crash, on Food Network. Also super, this guy, who can do this much stuff? His debut cookbook, which we just absolutely yammer about in this episode, Come On Over, released into the world yesterday. And oh my gosh, you guys, he's got like a jalapeno popper grilled cheese in there. Do you know what I'm saying? This is the stuff. He is the expert when it comes to hosting people and having them over for food, our favorite thing to do in the world. And we're going to talk about this idea of hosting and how to do it well. He's got some rules, he's got some laws. But in between all this, we just told a bunch of crazy stories today, and we cracked ourselves up. And at some point we talked about how old Jeff was when he first made out with somebody. I don't know how we got there, but we found a way. You're going to love this hour. This is going to be so fun for you. I'm so happy that you've tuned in. So pleased to share my conversation with the absolutely delightful Jeff Mauro.
Hi, Jen.
Jeff!
Now, I got to put on a hat now. Oh, my heavens. I am so embarrassed. Sorry, I'm in my lovely hotel room in New Jersey here. So,
oh, that's so fancy.
Lovely custom mirror arrangement behind me.
God. Listen, it's a fancy life,
Yeah,
hotel rooms in Jersey. It's just, you didn't choose this life. It's chosen you. So
you start somewhere and you never know when you're going to end up. And the pinnacle is right here in front of me, this one bedroom suite. No, it's great. I stay here all the time. Yeah, yes. No. There's nothing. Look, nice.
Oh, nuts.
See, because this is the thing, Jen. And this is what I've noticed in my travels during these strange times. Is either the hotel is we embrace, we're going to make you comfortable here because we're happy to have you staying, or they're we don't offer anything and there's nothing you can do about it. So we're going to clean your room every 4 days. You're not going to give you a coffee pot. We're not going to give you a glass or a thing or a bottle opener. Yeah. There's I keep having to ask for things. I'm can I how about one more little shampoo? I'm not balding, thank God. And I still need to
How about just properly one more, shampoo. Guys?
So
just
this is
float me one more bonus conditioner.
One
if you have it to spare, Lord. So it's so funny because I generally, in my normal life, I travel for work, and everything's weird now. And so I've largely not traveled this year, which would have been a real constant for me. And you know what? I don't miss that. I don't miss that hotel room you're in. I don't miss it.
You know what it smells like and it feels like and what the bed is like. And
I do. I have it in my muscle memory right now.
It is. So you're hey, Listen, from me to you, who's writing in it, right? You're not missing out.
Okay. I want to ask you a question about your hotel room behavior. It has recently come to my attention from like my online community who used to see a lot of pictures of me in the hotel room that I'm gross in a hotel room. I am a disgusting person. Like I put my clothes that I wear on my body like on the ground. I walk around barefoot.
It's like a college student.
I just don't. It never even occurred to me that was disgusting. Are you careful? Are you like? Do you wear gloves? Do you use the remote control?
No, not at all. Okay. I'm pretty. I keep my room clean. You know, I pride myself in being organized to a point, especially now that they're not servicing the rooms. But I try to leave my shoes by the door.
That's nice.
But if I have to run in and get something, I'm not going to take off my shoes.
That's nice.
I put, I mean, listen, are we recording, by the way?
Well, we are, but okay. Who cares?
So, no, I just didn't know if I was going to throw out, I didn't want to waste gold on this moment.
No, this is captured.
But I am a avid bather. So I don't care if the hotel room has a shoebox size bath. See. I'm going to relax at the end of the day in a nice warm bath, even if I have to like start doing little log rolls in there to make sure all my skin gets a taste of that warm, sweet hotel water. I usually protrude out of it. I'm a 6'2" man here.
It's not meant for you.
It's not meant for me, but I'm getting in it. So I guess that's probably the pinnacle of the gross stuff I do.
I want to tell you right now, and I say this just nicely, and this isn't judgmental.
Okay.
That's truly grosser than my behavior.
Been barefoot? Going barefoot?
I mean, I've been eclipsed by your hotel bathtub.
I know. Ooh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. I don't, but some, when I usually request a room, I like two things. I like a balcony so I can just feel like I'm, especially now when there's really nowhere to go. There's no hotel bars or there's no restaurants. I don't want to walk around. So it's like I feel like I'm somewhere else. And then I love a bathtub.
Listen, it's a free country. It is a free, if that's what you want, that's what you get to have. And there's not going to be any shame in that game.
Right.
So I'm so happy to meet you. I have so loved watching you and knowing you from afar, from my couch, from the comfort of my couch for a really long time. I'm kind of on record as saying I would 100% get rid of cable yesterday were it not for the Food Network. That's the glitch of the matrix for me. And so you're my guy.
Thank you.
You're my guy.
We love that. Can I get that quote and I'll send it to the the head of Discovery, because there's so many people like you out there. And obviously, I mean, the numbers show it and people need it in their lives now more than ever, but there is, the cutting of the cord is inevitable to a degree, but so many people still tune in and appointment television watch, especially on the Food Network, just have it going all day.
Totally.
Like background music.
Totally.
So you're one of the more evolved people, I like to say.
I have a bunch of kids and I'm always like, what's going to be your best, what's going to be your childhood memory? Like, what's the thing that's going to rise to the top for you when you think back on the years in our house? And I'm thinking, it's incredible warm memories about me, like the delicious meals that I made for them, or like the movie night or whatever, porch time. And every one of them are like, for the rest of my life, when we think of you, we're just going to think of like the Food Network on the television, like just background noise. I'm like, well, great. That's my legacy. It's fantastic.
I knew this was going to be a special interview.
Yeah.
You're just, I don't know if you're just buttering me up right now, but I am I'm lacquered. I'm saturated in butter right now.
Look,
and I love it.
This is God's truth. Anybody will tell you this. And we're going to get to it, but I just want to put a pin in it that also I am so solidly on record as saying by 100 miles, my favorite food in the entire world is a sandwich. And so we'll get there. Just hold.
You said the word and it was like a Pavlovian response. I just start spilling out, I'm pontificating if you want. I'm going to wait though.
You just hold your gold material because we're going to get there. The sandwich is like my core value. And so this is something that you and I could probably talk for an hour about just by itself. But first of all, let's go here. So I've told my listeners a little bit about you already. I've kind of high leveled it for them. But if you wouldn't mind, I'd kind of like to walk it back to kind of really the core of who you are. Would you tell us just a little bit about growing up in a very large, same here, noisy, same here, hungry, same here, family, and what it meant to you when you would hear your mom say, come on over into the phone. So we want to hear about little Jeff.
Little Jeff.
And little Jeff's family.
Well, and none of the little Mauros were ever, you couldn't qualify them as little ever. We're all in the husky realm.
Totally.
But that was just because we loved food. Yeah. And I think I developed my sense of humor and my flair for entertaining around that table, where my older brother would bully me and my sisters for attention. My sisters would cry for attention.
Sure. And
I couldn't go with that angle. I had to develop a new angle to get attention. And for me, it was making them laugh, because it was a double whammy. Totally. I get the attention and I diffuse whatever was going on. Not saying it was like people were like, it wasn't just, I mean, we're all a little bit dysfunctional. Sure. I'm not painting a negative picture here. I'm painting it's just a normal.
Listen, I grew up as the oldest of four in the loudest house that ever lived. So you're kind of describing my childhood. It's zany. Can we just call it zany?
It's zany.
Yeah.
To the point when my wife started coming around, and we've been together since we were 21. So for 20 years, so right out of college, she's like, you guys are so uncomfortably loud. And I'm not saying it's like, but it's like, it hurts sometimes. And then she can't get a word in. So she has to, developed her own strategies. And it's usually baking that gets people to talk. She gets her attention at the table. But that just kind of fueled that fire. And the food was always an integral part of everything. And, the whole ethos of this come on over movement, that from the book to the podcast and all this stuff, is I love those words. When my mom said those words, I knew we were going to eat. First and foremost, that coffee cake that's been in the freezer for 3 months was getting pulled out and defrosted. Pizza was being ordered, or she's, over the stove, bubbling on a big pot of gravy with meatballs and sausage. And whoever was coming over, I wasn't like a weird kid that would be like, I'm going to go in the basement and play TurboGrafx. I was like I couldn't wait if it was the crazy uncle, if it was my dad's weird friend with it,
totally
a doctor in Mexico, it's like I loved it because it was, that's where you get your stories from. Totally. That's where we congregate and eat. And for me, it's just like the greatest word, and I love now to this day when my wife, she's like, screw it, just tell them to come on over. And I'm like, yes, because she's usually like, well, I got to clean, we got to get prepared, we got to do all this. And that's kind of where the stress, but I love it still. I love having people over.
I grew up in the same kind of family, and I have the same kind of family now. So, because my kids are older than yours. You've got
five children, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it?
God.
That's it?
Like, what are we doing? It's mayhem.
It usually backfires. Like, I'm one of four.
Yeah.
I only have one.
Yeah.
So
right. You course corrected.
Yes, I course corrected. We got a huge extended family.
Yeah.
So that's plenty for me. It's a lot of it. It is. And
it is plenty.
It is. And there's a lot of, I'm like the house. I'm like the nucleus of the family. And so everybody's we're always filled with, my son's got enough playmates, but
that's what I was going to tell you. Like, how old's your son?
He's 12.
Yeah. These next 8 years or so of his life, it's like you have 5 kids. Like when I'm making dinner, I just kind of yell, like, how many people are here? And there's always bonus
roll
kids.
Call. Bonus.
There's like extra kids. I don't know who they are. I'm just like, just get a plate. So
that's awesome.
The teen thing, the teen activity, they show up to the homes that feed them. So I'm sorry to tell you, this is your future. Like,
don't worry.
Yeah.
My son will come home from other people's houses. I'm like, gee, right? Assuming that he did. No, his buddies come over. They're in the basement. Yep. It's always like the custom 6 custom sandwiches from the deli. And then I order 3 medium pizzas because it travels better. I make them the greatest, grilled cheeses with, not float my own boat, but they're getting, I'm not helping keep these kids away. They're addicted to our house now.
No, seriously, you need to get a second job for your grocery bill. And it's actually
like $89 orders sometimes for these kids for sambwiches.
Right. And they're not even yours.
And then these other parents, nothing. Maybe some like pirate's booty they're getting.
Right. They're like, here's a Totino's pepperoni roll.
Hey, nothing wrong with that in the air fryer, though.
God, I would eat it.
Ooh. I would eat it. If you put 19 of them in front of me right now, guarantee you without even breathing or thinking.
I sometimes get real soapboxy about food and homemade and from scratch. In my freezer this very second is like the jumbo bag of Totino's.
You got it. Oh, so you're not kidding.
No, I have it. I bought it with money I earned. Like I plunked it down and bought it at the store.
That's what they call. Yeah, that's what they call a wise investment. That's diversifying your funds right there.
That's exactly right.
Because imagine what it saves you in a delivery pizza, which are very expensive with delivery charges.
No,
now.
You're right. Sometimes when there's just 6 teenage boys here, I'm just like going to dump this on a sheet pan, and this is what you're eating. And they're happy about it.
I mean, I could see them ramping up. Like I see the appetites ramping up and the smell. Like I'll go in that base and they're only 12. I can't imagine 15, 16 when they're really.
It's a lot.
Things are, they're just. Okay.
Here's where I come back
now I'm not hungry for a Totino's pizza.
I know. I'm sorry. I've really ruined that experience with that horrible correlation. I want to hear you talk about your trajectory because obviously you've had amazing culinary influences in your life and you started right out of the gate kind of in that deli world. And then we get to Food Network star. That was my introduction to you, obviously, all the way now to the kitchen. And then next we'll get to the cookbook after this. But that's quite a deal. I mean, you did it. You did the damn thing. I want to know everything about it. I want to know, was that your dream? Did you know where you were going? Did you have like an aim here? Or is some of this surprising?
No, it was so orchestrated. Like from a very young age, from 3rd grade when I started performing up into when I started working in food, I'm like, this is it. This is my angle. Yeah. I knew I was never going to be the best chef. I went to culinary school. I did all that stuff. I've worked in, but I loved it. But that's why I loved the deli, because the deli was my stage. It was cooking, but also handing people thinly cut 3/4 pound perfectly weighed slices of smoked turkey. So I was like, what's the pinnacle of this? And that's Food Network, obviously, and it still is, thank God. But so how do I kind of engineer my life as an adult to that point? And it wasn't easy, and it was not overnight.
No.
Like most stories, and people are like, man, you got it. You struck gold. You lucked out, whatever. I'm like, dude, no, it took 10 years of weird situations, performing and doing stand-up comedy in the bowling alley basement / fried chicken shop. No joke, to auditioning for everything from regional carpet commercials to Food Network star 4 times. Nice. So I was just, I loved it. I love food. So I knew I was never going to be the best chef in the world. Yeah. I knew I was never going to be the best stand-up or comic in the world or actor, but I knew I could be the funniest chef in the world. So like once I realized that, and I knew I can have the sandwich point of view better than most people, or at least anybody trying at least that Food Network star reality show competition route, which thank God for it, because that was the only way I was getting in. I tried all the other ways of doing my own show, pitching it to production companies, getting a pilot produced by production companies, pitching it to agencies, pitching it to networks. Like I did that in LA for years, and it just never worked out. And like most LA stories ended with me going back home, enrolling in culinary school, going back home and just starting a family and like doing what I loved while still cooking and performing and setting my sights on Food Network. And the book is just like, it ended. I can't believe it, because that took 2 years. I mean, that's you've written books. Have you done any cookbooks? No,
I'm writing one right now. It's
God,
it is a deal.
My God,
it is a deal. I love food writing, but I've always done it. I'm like you. I'm like part food, part entertainment. It's the mashup that I love. So my food writing's rambly and silly and obnoxious and ridiculous. And so I'm like, well, this is fun. Let's do a whole book of it.
Yep. And you're like, wait a minute. Now I don't know. I was like, grammatically, I'm lacking. The words are always there, the stories. It's just getting them down. And then I've never done so many like rewrites of any. Usually I write a recipe and then I tell the story behind the recipe on television. This is like locking in the story for life.
So real. I have a million questions. First of all, congratulations on your cookbook. It's such a heavy lift. And then like you get it out in the world and it is it must be an amazing feeling. I want to hear about your experience writing it more. I want you to talk more about it. Like how many recipes did you put in it? What did you love about doing this? What was harder than you thought? How many hours did you spend in your own personal test kitchen? Because I live there now. I live in my kitchen now. That's my home.
Much food.
So much food. My kids love it.
Well, of course. That's why you had 5 children. I mean, you're like, one day I'm going to write a cookbook. I must have 5 children to eat all the food left over.
It's so much food.
It is. I know.
But I want to hear more about how you found that. Because that's very different, as you just mentioned, from your TV world.
Yeah. It's, well, first of all, it's 111 recipes, which I thought was the magic number. They're like, we're going to do 110. I'm like, can we do one more and make it 111? Because it's just a funnier number. I don't know. Nobody does odd numbers for cookbook recipes. So I'm like, I'm going to differentiate myself to that. So there's really that's the only reason there's 111. But it's hard to even pick the final recipes because I wanted sandwiches be spotlighted and a pizza chapter and a Chicago food chapter and a baking. So it's like you do it in the testing of it was fairly simple because there's a ton of food. More for the photography. The week of shooting was a tremendous amount of food that we just were giving away to whoever was walking down the street at one point. Because I was like, hey, man, I'm a famous guy. You're going to take my food. I'm like, you know what this is worth? So we I constantly develop recipes for the shows. I mean, you're talking, we're on our 28th season of The Kitchen. That's 13 episodes a season. That's a lot of recipes, a recipe a show at least. So I've had ones that I've always, I'm just always writing recipes, but you got to make sure they're locked in for this book. So we tested them all and it's a fun process. And all in all, from the point, I got the book offer to handing it in, it was 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you spend a year writing it, I would say, shooting it, all that, and then months and months of all the edits and the passes. And I was like, I didn't like that. Like I liked handing it in, and now I like selling it.
That's it. But for me, what I'm learning is I'm just a real intuitive. I'm just a home cook. I don't have your training. I don't have your credentials. I'm just a girl who learned to cook from your network. And so I'm intuitive. So my editor's like, one thing that isn't a thing that you can say is some salt. I'm like, well, that's what it is. It's some.
Oh, stop.
Put some in and then see how it tastes. I don't know how much.
Every recipe I wrote for 10 years always said, season to taste with salt and pepper. Yeah. Right? See, at the end, season to taste, or, if it's a baking, obviously, you put the quantities in. And I had to like scrub that language because they'd go in and I thought maybe a couple of times I slid it in there, and man, like the fourth pass, they're like, nah, you're going to need we need a measurement.
I know.
And I'm
so upset by it. I'm like, they're like,
I'm an artist.
You don't understand my food. They're like, Jen, if you say somebody will put in 3 tablespoons of salt.
Yeah, you're right.
They just will. That's what some means to them.
And I 100% agree with that. It's one thing when you're on TV saying, and they're watching it and the recipe reflects what you've done. But in this book, again, you're locking it in for life. You don't want any duds. And you want to try to eliminate the risk of, Connie in Ohio being like, well, quarter cup it is.
I always say Brenda from Cincinnati. You have Connie from Ohio. I think it's the same person.
Everybody in Food Network says that because that's we have
Connie
to say
from
that.
Ohio.
Connie from Ohio is like, talk to any Food Network talent. They're all like, oh shoot, man, I'm straying a little far from Connie from Ohio on this one. I think we got to roll back the the caviar and the foie gras in the recipe. Smoked sea salt.
So tickled. Listen, you've got a lot of things on your plate this spring. There's taxes, which we all kind of expect. And then there's navigating a world trying to emerge from a pandemic, which was not expected. You just need one thing to be easy, and I've got it. You can shop for home and auto insurance with Policy Genius. Policy Genius can help you find home and auto coverage similar to what you have now, but at a lower price. Hello. In fact, they've saved customers up to $1,055 a year by reshopping their home and auto coverage, and getting started is super easy. So first head to policygenius.com and answer just a few quick questions about yourself and your property. Then Policy Genius takes it from there. They'll compare rates from America's top insurers, from Progressive to Allstate, all of them, to find your absolute lowest quotes. The Policy Genius team will look at all the ways to maximize your savings. You know this, they're singing my song right now. This is my language. Including bundling your home and auto policies, if that's what it is. If Policy Genius finds a better rate than what you're paying now, they will switch you over for free. They've saved customers over $1,000 a year compared to their current home and auto policy. So head to policygenius.com to get started. Policy Genius, when it comes to insurance, it's nice to get it right. Guys, it's here. Spring is here. The skies are blue, the birds are singing, the flowers are blooming. And listen, if you want to get some of that spring magic indoors or even on your front porch, you've got to check out this super cool company called Bloomscape. Bloomscape delivers healthy plants right to your door, plus all the grow-how you need to help them thrive. You can find the perfect plants for your space, whether you've got tons of light or hardly any. I got this little fiddle leaf fig from Bloomscape for our living room, and I absolutely love it. It came right to my door looking so beautiful and healthy. It's got these glossy green leaves that brighten the whole room up. I love it so much. Oh, and now Bloomscape is taking it outside with their new outdoor bloom kits. You can shop a variety of plants and accessories and tools and supplies. Bloomscape has everything you need to get your patio or your porch springtime ready. So you've got to check them out. And right now, you can get 15% off plant orders of $100 or more with promo code FORTHELOVE, and that's at bloomscape.com. So that's 15% off plant orders of $100 or more at bloomscape.com, promo code FORTHELOVE. All right, back to our show. I want to know, I mean, it's so hard to pick out of 111, of course, but what are a couple of the recipes that you developed for the cookbook that you're like, this one is just, it's money. This is the one people are going to write me about. This is the one people are going to like put on Pinterest.
Okay. So, there's so many. I think when the summertime hits, I developed and invented 2 new boils. I know it's like, really? Can I see?
I already know this. I have it in my notes.
So, and this is, it's such a, like, I almost not fought with the editors about this, because boil is, I just said it out loud. I'm like, are they on your neck or on your calf? They're like a shrimp boil, but yeah. I grew up with a dad who's severely allergic to shrimp to the point of if he eats one, he will most likely die. Sometimes he takes a bite of an egg roll knowing this, but he just wants an egg roll.
He's going to roll the dice.
He rolls the dice. That's how we live.
Yeah.
That's how we're addicted to food we are.
Sure.
He'll die for it. One bite of an egg roll. So I developed these. So we never, and I grew up in Chicago, in the Midwest. I mean, there's no shrimp where we live.
Right.
Naturally, so Lake Michigan does not produce, it's not a great shrimp fishery.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying. Only smelts, and nobody wants to smelt boil.
No.
So I developed nacho boils, and what I think is my crowning achievement is the Italian sub boil, which is like shards of beautifully oiled, slightly toasted Italian bread, just all the deli meats ribboned on there with shredded lettuce. So it's like you plate it over a huge parchment. You put the giardiniera on there, the oil and vinegar, little bocconcini, fresh mozzarella balls. Yes. And you have this out there on parchment, and everybody's just going in there like a giant 6-foot plate of nachos, but it's an Italian sub. Because I had to put an Italian sub in there. I mean, it's like my roots, but I wanted to do a new spin. So that one was fun.
That's incredible.
And we ate it. And I was like, I have the best photographer in the world. His name's Ken Goodman. He was a chef for 30 years in New York City restaurants who became a photographer. So the best possible. He had an eye for food and an eye for, composition. And I'm like, he's going to hate, New York guy. He was like, this is the best thing you've ever done. He's like, this is, and I remember as we shot it and we're all sitting there like eating and sweating. I'm like, no, we're like, you're ruining, we're burning daylight here, as they say. I love that one. And my wife's pecan sea salt chocolate chip cookies. She's a tremendous baker and she just made these because we're doing these Instagram reels for the kids.
Yeah, I know about it.
No idea what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
I literally have a 15-year-old doing them for me. And we made them the other night, and they're just like the most gratifying chocolate chip cookie in the world.
So, though I shouldn't, of course, ever have been handed a cookbook contract because I'm not really a dessert person. Okay. I like things to be spicy and savory and salty. That's my favorite food. Salt. My favorite food is salt.
I love it.
But I just have I have one dessert that I just love. I've loved it my whole life. It's just ordinary creme brulee. So I have a dessert chapter with one thing in it. That's it. That's it. It's got creme brulee.
You are.
So that's like my 111. Man, my 111 is I'm going to have one recipe in the dessert chapter.
That's brilliant. That would have been the best thing for a 111 recipe count. You get the one is the one dessert. That you could take it. You could take 111. It's sweeping the nation tag. Hashtag 111, everybody. But good for you, man. It's your book.
It's what I like. At the end of the day,
it's what you like.
I cannot talk about baking with any integrity. Everybody in my real life would be like, this is some BS, lady.
I love creme brulee, too. I think that's because, it's technique based, which is great. It holds well, and you fire at the last minute, and you get that crust. It's so I don't know. I had one last night.
Anybody who doesn't love it. You did?
Yeah, and they poured a shot of I don't know. I was having dinner with one of my co-hosts, Jeffrey.
Yes.
So he's a fancy doing oysters.
He's so fancy.
Fancy.
Sometimes when I watch you guys on The Kitchen, and you and Sonny, everybody else is like, that would just be my friend. Like we'd just be having a beer with our crab boils. And then Jeffrey comes in and he's like got on a sports jacket and like an ascot. This dude goes hard. I'm like, this is just who he is.
It's him. It's like you only doing one dessert. You're true to yourself in your book. He's true no matter what.
Yeah.
But it's a great dynamic. We break his balls. He breaks mine. It's a fun thing. And
I love it.
It's just we just literally pitched a show yesterday to the network with the two of us based and I think it would be the funniest thing.
What's the premise? Can you tell us, or you'd have to kill us?
I can't. I don't think I can yet.
Okay, but it's the yin and yang of the straight guy and the funny guy.
It's that dynamic, the duality of the funny straight has been classic forever for a reason.
It works for a reason.
Nobody's really doing it.
Yeah.
They try, but we're actually friends, which was my point. We went out to, he orders the creme brulee, but we got to have like a flaming shot of framboise on it, and I'm like, what are we doing? And it's just so, I don't know. It's so nice to have somebody that I can call at any time who's, wise in many ways. And the fanciness is not an act. He loves it, but he's so accessible and down to earth and truly just a great family man. But
I love to hear that. That makes me really, really happy. And I got to tell you that your relational dynamic comes through. We can tell when we watch the people that we like on TV. I can tell they do not like each other. Or there's some weird sexual tension right there. Yeah. You can tell when the friendship is genuine, and that comes across on your show. It's fun to watch.
And Jeffrey and I's sexual tension is very genuine too.
I mean, I said that on the nose. It's very palpable. Very, very palpable. I want to talk about your experience on Food Network Star, because a competition cooking show is different than a demonstrative cooking show, or whatever it was that you had been pitching was probably Jeff-centric. You're the guy, it's your world. Mm-hmm. And then you come into this completely different scenario that is intense and it's fast paced. It's stressful. Did you like that? Did you enjoy competition?
No, I hated it. I hated it. It's the greatest thing I've ever done.
Right.
It was the most life-changing decision for me get on that plane and go to that final round of audition, or even to send in the video for the 4th time for the 4th season, because it was my last time. I swore it was. Yep. It's a last chance. I'm going all in. You know what I mean? Like I had that moment, and I was like, "This is it. After it, I'm done. Okay. I'm done chasing this specific dream." So I got there, and they like take everything from you. Every book you brought, writing implements. Really? Paper, no music, no magazines, no phones, no keys, no wallets, nothing. So you're a prisoner of the production.
Yes.
So you're at their, right? I mean, and then they bring in this, introduce you to all these, nutty people. Yes. Let's be honest, people who would willingly compete on a reality show competition. Absolutely. And this is 10 years ago. This was like the heyday. It was like so hard. So all you had was the house, the people, in the competition, in a whole lot of waiting, in rooms with nothing to do. I'm talking 6-7 hours.
Oh my God.
For your chance to, or for production to pick you up, or to go do your 60-second cooking thing, or do the main competition. And you're in this room with like flies.
Yeah.
And like a garbage. And you're like, and it's like 14 yahoos laying on the floor because we have nothing else. And that was like every day or every other day. And I missed home. I forgot.
Of course.
I forgot this was 2.5 months. They would give us 1 10-minute phone call every 7 to 10 days, recorded. So they didn't want you to be like, oh my God, I'm winning it all. And I felt pretty confident throughout the competition. So I wanted to put my wife's a nurse. She's holding down the fort. I'm not getting paid for this. Our son's 2 years old. It's dead of winter in Chicago. It was like the worst blizzard of all time. The house is falling apart. And I'm calling up. I'm like, I can't tell you anything. She's like, how's it going? Like the first one, she's like, oh my God, how's it going? Blah, blah. I'm like, and then by the 3rd phone call, she's like, almost didn't want to talk to me because I couldn't share anything with her. And then she would just unload on me that the house was breaking. Her mom fell and broke her elbow while shoveling. Why the hell she's shoveling? All this stuff. The baby
started talking.
Right? 2-year-old kid.
Yep.
I forgot the hardest part. And I tell you, they let us take 2 pictures with us. So I had a picture, obviously, of my wife and I for my wedding and my son, who was barely 2 at the time. I forgot what he sounded like, of course, how he moved through space, would his body move. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't visualize him talking to me or hugging me or whatever. And that almost destroyed my chances because there were moments where I was like, I'm done. I don't care if I'm 4th. I just want to go home. But that also motivated me to be like, I got it. This is my last shot. I got to win this.
Well, and at that point, you want an ROI on your investment. You've already been there 6 weeks. Hell, you're not going home without a trophy.
Exactly. So, and there was no sense in aiming for anything but number one. And I'm glad I did because, there was a moment there where you look back at other seasons like, oh, whoever came in 2nd or 3rd ended up getting a show, ended up getting this.
Totally.
But I'm glad. And you just, you surrender to it. And by, 8 weeks into it, you're like, all right, now we're in New York and they gave us money and we can go buy a book and watch, they took us to a movie. I saw The Fighter in a movie theater. I was like crying. I was like, this is the greatest. I mean, it's a good movie, but it's not the great. You were just sensory
deprived. You needed some input from somewhere.
Shoving Reese's Pieces and popcorn in my mouth. I gained weight. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't working out. It was so the point is it was not glamorous.
No.
I mean, they would, when the judges walked by and if we were like huddled somewhere, I swear to God, Jen, they would make all the casts turn their bodies and face the wall while while Bobby and Giada walked by. And that's like the producer. I'm not saying Bobby and Giada did that. They would never. They didn't. They were so cool with us and they were like our parents, Yeah. We would get to vent to them, being like, and then the camera, but the production was.
They're like, you do not make eye contact.
Hard ice. They put us on hard ice all the time. They'd be like hard ice, like which means psychological you can't talk. Yeah.
They just want to kind of break you down. Do you think that's what it was?
Oh my! They would wake us up every 5 a.m. and they'd be shooting us, brushing our teeth, and they'd shoot us going to bed. And the heat wouldn't work sometimes, and they put us in these rooms. They just wanted to elicit a really dramatic response. Sure. I mean, it's producing. And I would probably sign off on it if I had all this money invested in a reality competition show myself.
Yeah. So fun fact, a few years ago, we renovated our house. We have an old 1908 house renovated on a series on HGTV, like an 8-episode series. And so one of our producers, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about. I just want to let you know I'm veering right off into left field real quick.
Love left field.
One of our producers was also the producer on Rock of Ages. Do you know what I'm saying right now?
Yeah.
It was, who was it? Brett Michaels.
Yeah, Brett Michaels. They won a singing position, right?
And well, it was Brett Michaels and all these women. And I can't remember the deal.
I know what you're talking. I'm thinking of another reality. This was like a dating, like The Bachelor with
show. Who can get Brett Michaels to be your boyfriend?
Oh, that's so hot. I mean, weird.
I mean, who wouldn't, right? I mean,
man, the bandana.
Just a real strong, solid pool there. And so Adam, our producer, was like, look, this is production. We would try to start getting the women sauced by like 9 a.m. Like if we could be pretty much all the way in the bag by brunch, we knew it was going to be like gold star television.
Right. But I mean, they do that on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette.
Of course.
It's obvious.
Yes.
Most of these people are almost about to pass out. And then you look, I mean, they didn't plot. I mean, we weren't drinking for we weren't, competing for love of Brett. But we were competing for the same thing, and that's how they got those reactions from us. Not with the booze. I mean, we had drinks, thank God, in the house. I mean, it was like that was it. That's all you had to do. It was like, diet beer like MGD 64 and Franzia boxed wine.
No, that's mean.
And then you had to like game. So we had 3 Wranglers that were babysat us 24 hours a day. They're the best. I remember Michael, Natalie, and Will. I loved them. And I'm like, my goal for that show was to not only win via my cooking and performances, but win with the production and the producers. Be the most amiable, most affable, most liked person by the sound guy touching my chest every 6 minutes, to the boom guy, to the cameraman, getting them laughing. I go, if I have like everybody on my side, I'm going to win this. It is about those judges mostly, but I guarantee you sprinkle in a little bit of that, and they guide the show too.
The side energy coming in from here and here. Yep.
I tell you. So I would like work, the Wranglers, forget about it. Like by week 2, I'm getting bottles of Tito's and Jack, We're like hustling all this stuff. Like, can you go get us in and out? Can you get us a carton of cigarettes? Like, it was like, I was like, am I in jail? It was fun though.
That was a good strategy.
Was fun. Yeah, it was a good strategy.
Yeah, that worked. We can't not talk about the sandwich for just a minute. There's just not a way I'm going to be able to let that go.
That's what I do.
I would like to hear from you, your feelings about the sandwich and why, and your evolution of the sandwich. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Oh, yes. I have that queued up.
I'm ready for that because I also have such strong feelings about your aversion to ketchup on hot dogs. It's like you've been harmed somewhere in your childhood. You were hurt.
There's some trauma. It's always based in trauma, isn't it?
Sandwiches are just the incorruptible food. And I eat one every single day of my life. I have trained my children up in the way that they should go, which is, we don't mess around. We're not stupid sandwich makers. We do it. We do it right, and we do it full. So
you think about it.
Yeah. Oh, do I? I am never without my sandwich materials. Never. Absolutely never.
Well, so, I mean, that's why I not only choosing that point of view for Food Network Star, which I'm glad I did.
Clever.
I came up from the deli world. I worked at deli since I was 15 years old. So I knew how to make them great, but I knew how people are so passionate. It's almost like they're dogs. You know what I mean? Like everybody loves talking about their dogs or whatever. Like people love, once you say, oh, well, I have the best one. Oh, I make the best one. Yeah. Oh, the crispy, I got the best mustard for it. Oh, best lettuce. But people get out of control, rabid about it, to the point where, I mean, there's, how they started World War I. Sandwiches. I can't get into it now. It's too political. But it was because someone made a bad sandwich.
Yeah.
But every culture, every continent, every country in the world has a sandwich. no matter where you are, there is some version of a handheld device.
That's right.
So I knew also that I could teach cooking through sandwich making.
Yes.
Because the fundamentals
elements,
of culinary arts, whether you're whisking, emulsifying a vinaigrette to put on your sub boil, or you're, making a stable cheese sauce for, griddled burger, you can learn from them. And it's not a humble, everybody's like, oh, the humble sandwich. I'm like, not now. $38 sandwiches on most menus.
Oh yeah, you got to show up. If you're going to put a sandwich on your menu, it needs to be like gold standard.
Yeah. And it's just usually people putting way too many things on one burger or one sandwich where you can't even eat it, but it's part of my, passions of that is trying to articulate to the world the proper ratios for sandwich building.
This is important. This is your work in the world. It's your calling and it matters.
It is.
So if you had to pick it, if you got to make your favorite sandwich, the one way that you like it the best, what is that?
I would make I'll tell you, I'm gonna go two routes. All right. Okay. So there's the lunchtime sandwich, the quick lunchtime sandwich would be just good. Like go to the deli and you form a relationship with the delicatessenaire that I've dubbed them.
Fancy.
Much like you would your fishmonger or your butcher. These guys are like in the shadows usually, right? Getting yelled at that it's not thin enough, it's not thick enough, all this stuff. Develop that relationship, and that's where you should start with all your great lunchtime sandwiches. Get the good, I like honey turkey.
Me too.
Shaved. Boom. A nice, slightly crusty, but very yielding, like sub roll or Italian bread or French baguette. And then I do yellow. It's so humble. Really, really sharp provolone. You want to taste it. Like where, when you smell provolone, sometimes you start to sweat, that kind of provolone.
Yep.
Mustard, shredded iceberg lettuce, tomatoes, and hot jardinera, like on the mustard. Delicious. So the oil mingles. And then you cut it and you have a bag of barbecue chips and a diet root beer.
I'd eat it every day.
Wouldn't you?
Yep. I'd eat that every day of my life.
And it's right. It's probably most of humanity has eaten a turkey sandwich, but it's like the little spins and everything, the little tweaks there, paying attention to, maybe getting the $4.99 a pound turkey instead of the $2.99 a pound. And if they start to slice it and you see it's at the butt end of it, being like, hey, Gary, deli guy, Linda, can you open up a new one for me, please? Because we've established this relationship that I just told you to establish, right? So I don't know, just stuff like that's how passionate, and that's right. We've blown half our time talking about a turkey sandwich.
I'm not sorry about it either. So
that would be it. I love that.
That's your day sandwich. What's your night sandwich?
So one of my family favorites is my Italian beef pot roast style, which is my spin on Italian beef, but made like a pot roast, but infused with red wine and all these herbs, garlic, and it just pulls apart. And you put it on a crusty roll, and you put your peppers on it, and you dip it in there. It's so good.
Oh, my mouth's watering.
I'm gonna say into maybe like a smash burger,
a greasy, like on a griddle.
Smashed, doubled,
totally,
double stacked.
What's your
American cheese? American cheese.
Nice.
What do I look like?
No.
Do I look like am I a communist?
I know. Sometimes I don't want the shame that comes from the American cheese, but show me a better cheese on a smash burger. Show me. There isn't one.
And there's no such thing as one slice. It's only 3 slices of American, 2 to 3. Yeah. I think 3 is the ideal. Like I want to feel the cheese. I want so much American cheese sticking to the front of my teeth. You know how it like stick and you got to scrape it off?
Totally.
I want to look like I'm wearing Invisalign when I'm eating this burger. But man, another simple prep, right? I like a nice creamy kind of, I call it my 18,000 island dressing on the side so I can dip in. The American cheese and maybe some like pickled jalapenos on it.
Everything that you just said is my favorite thing.
I knew this was meant to be.
It was meant to be. We call it in our house trash sauce, which is a real.
Is that going in the book?
Of course.
Okay, what's in it?
This is lowbrow cookbook.
I love trash sauce already.
Just, it's mustard, mayo, ketchup, maybe some relish, maybe some hot sauce if you're feeling like hot trash sauce.
Oh man, spicy trash.
Yeah, spicy trash. Just on the side for dipping. We're dippers. That was something I taught my kids before they got out of kindergarten. So yeah, this is a really, really important discussion that we're having.
I love the trash, because every household has their own version of trash talk. You know, exactly. I'm going to grab at least 4 to 6 condiments and squeezables, as I like to call them, and just start dumping and squeezing and whisking.
They're good every time.
I love it. And I'm not a big mayo fan. Like, I love mayo on fried chicken sandwiches or on crispy bacon, turkey-based club sandwiches.
You have to have
That's it. I don't like it with ham. But if you start adding maybe a little stone ground mustard to that, a couple dashes of horseradish, whatever.
Well, now we're cooking with gas.
Did your great-grandmother work hard to raise her children and keep her family together? Did your grandfather march for social justice and pave the way for change? Did your family persevere through natural disasters, maybe, to rebuild and start anew? Challenging times, obviously, are nothing new, but neither are resilient people. And with Ancestry, you can learn about the specific struggles your family went through and grow you closer to your own family today. Ancestry helps you search billions of records to learn more about the ancestors who came through remarkable challenges so you could be here today. You can find details about their lives in records at Ancestry. You can find out how they earned a living through a census record or see their actual signature on a military record. Learning their stories helps you find a connection to what they went through and how they stood strong through hardship. As I dig into my own family tree, I've had a lot of first-generation immigrants and just a couple of, links away from me. I can't wait to find out what it took for them to get here, what it took for them to start over in America. You know what? There's just strength in every family story. So learn more about yours at Ancestry. Head to my URL at ancestry.com/forthelove to start your free trial. That's ancestry.com/forthelove. All right, back to our show.
I want to hear real quick from you about your 10 come on over commandments.
Very serious.
Just pick a couple of these that you want to talk about and tell everybody what these basic rules are that you have included for entertaining. By the way, your bent on entertaining is just so good. It's so spot on. And especially right now, we're so hungry for it. We're about to come out of this pandemic. Mm-hmm. We're dying to have everybody around our tables again. It's
happening. It's going to happen more and more as the weather's turning, so we can do it outside.
Totally.
Everybody and people, like my publisher, was so worried about this. We pushed the date back of this book because it's like nobody's going to. I go, no. I have a feeling that this is the perfect time for this book because it's like it gives you hope. I don't know. And now when you're and everybody forgot, I think, how to have like humans over to your abode. So this is, why I wrote some of these.
Okay, give us some.
Let's see. Okay, this is a huge one.
Okay.
1 to 0 appetizers. Keep your guests hungry. This is commandment number 3. 1 to 0 apps. Mm-hmm. Keep your guests hungry to make dinner the star. I want you coming over to my house. First of all, I prefer it if nobody ate all day. Because I'm preparing.
Starved.
I'm doing commandment number 2. You can never over prepare. I'm over preparing. Yeah. So when people hear, I want you like a zombie, like looking at me, like you got blood, like bloody tears. Yeah. I don't know what that means, but
I don't know. It feels dramatic, but
itself.
Yeah.
And so when you lay out this spread of charcuterie, crudité, right, grandma's dip.
Yeah.
The 7-layer bean nacho spread. Billy brought over a cauldron of just it's mayonnaise, hot mayonnaise with a vegetable in there.
Sure.
Right, just bubbling. And then where can I warm it up? Can I use your broiler? First, that's another. Don't ever bring me something that needs to use my oven for. You can't. I got one oven.
With that.
I got a pizza oven. I got the smoker. Everything going.
Right.
I'll make it work. Right. But don't be that guy. So I don't want everybody getting full on the starters because I'm putting 92% of the effort into the mains.
Yes.
And I'm timing it perfectly. It's not because I'm a professional. You can do this at home too. You time it perfectly. So when they're there, you mix them a drink. You have maybe a little bit of sausage out, one of my recipes, or a crudité is always perfect.
Sure.
With a swipe of hummus with a veg to not fill you up. And then by the time dinner comes, people are actually pissed. They're like, ugh.
They're sorry they came.
Like, And people know that, my in-laws know that they're coming in hungry, and and then I like to serve the dinner. Like everybody has a couple drinks, and then I put dinner on because then I can enjoy myself once dinner's served. I like
that.
And at the end of the day, that's how you not manipulate the situation, but if you can control the start time of the main, whether it's like a luncheon or whatever, you dictate when you're kind of free. And I can't really pour a good strong because I drink when I cook, but I'm not having I'll have a couple beers or something. But if I need to turn it up, if it's been a week, and I want to make myself a tequila beverage, I'm not going to do that until the dinner's done, so I can keep my eye on the prize and keep sharp. Yes. So that's important, I think. I know a lot of people are like, that is not
I love
correct.
That. And I've discovered when I have people over for dinner, if I've also put all the juice into the dinner and not in a lot of the appetizers, a cocktail will solve their problems. Like
it always does.
They're not mad. If you put a beautiful old fashioned in their hand, they're like, well, guess what? Guess who doesn't need a mayonnaise based bubbly dip? Yeah. I don't.
Where can I drag? What dip can I drag my knuckles through first?
Right, totally.
You see it on like a finger. I'm like, oh God. Sometimes it's gotta have some dip rules too. It is. Some people get a little deep in the dip. I'm like, is there dip on your forearm? How dramatic of a swipe did you take? I don't know.
Pretty sloppy behavior.
It is.
I mean, people need to do better. I know. So, okay, I actually like the 0 to 1 app. I sometimes get in the weeds on appetizers. Like all of a sudden, it's not even, I don't even care. I barely even thought about that. I'm having to do all the knife cuts and my mayonnaise based dip isn't, I don't know, but
you don't factor it into the production schedule.
That's it.
And
that's it.
And it's not worth being in the weeds.
Does your wife help you in the kitchen on these things?
We are like, we don't even like talk. We just give each other looks.
Oh yeah.
We run it like a restaurant. You have a lot of behind yous, a lot of very, it's like two beautiful fallen maple leaves blowing in the wind, just barely touching each other, crossing paths while I put this in the oven. And
do you make her say yes, chef?
Never. I would never.
She's the boss. Real good call.
She's the boss. We all know that. Trust me.
I really like that you say, get the thing to the table and then sit down and enjoy it. Sit with your people. I am guilty of being the get up and get the thing and pour that. And I've missed whole dinner parties that I've spent 10 hours preparing.
And that's really the number one thing is you got to try to enjoy it because it is worth it. And if you don't enjoy the food, I don't know. It's kind of sad, right? Because my mother was like, I learned it from my mom and my aunts who were like, it's like this, the scene in WALL-E where you have the robot that cleans WALL-E as he dirties up the ship. They can't sit down. They have to pick that up, move that. Get that for their, most of the old timers were bossing them around too, unfortunately.
Good point.
But I'm so guilty of it that I find myself standing and eating at these get-togethers, and you're just shoving food in your mouth so you can get that cleaned up or finish slicing the steak. So you got to really, you got to allow yourself some time and budget that time to sit down because if someone wants something, honest to God, unless it's
they're a grown-ass adult,
they can get it.
They can get up and get a knife. I really appreciate
spill,
you saying,
which happens,
it does.
They can clean it up themselves.
They sure can. They sure can.
Enough.
I know that this is true because I think of it from the perspective of being a guest at a dinner party. When the host is bustling and back in the kitchen and we're all sitting down, I don't like it. I want them to sit down and eat with us and relax. I
hate it. My mom does. It drives us all sit down. You feel, because we're Catholic. We were raised Catholic. So when we sit down, we know by the time my mom finally sits down and we've already shoved half a shovel into our mouths. my dad, then we're really getting steamed up. My dad's like, all right, let's pause, say grace. And we're like,
Sure.
oh, we just started eating. So we know that's coming. There's like, it's like these disruptions are stopping us from just getting our daily caloric value, and God forbid. But
don't make us pray.
I know. I was like, then we pray, and then we feel bad. And then, or he asks like my son to pray. My son's like, I'm going to give you a 6-word banger right now.
That's it.
Poppy.
That's it.
But it's like all these just like, you just got to sit down because nothing can happen.
Yes.
That we can't mentally, spiritually, right?
That's it.
Progress until mom sits down at the table or I sit down at the table. And you got to remember that because the instinct is to, nurture the situation and try to.
And I think that is the instinct, which is I'm hosting, I'm serving, but it doesn't have that effect on your eaters because we want you to sit and enjoy it with us. We want you to have your moment in the sun. Like you provided this food for us. We want you better sit down and eat it with us. And we could bring our praise to the city gates.
Yep.
And feel like you're getting to enjoy this labor as much as we are. So I really love your food perspective. Okay, let's lay on the plane here. I've asked all my guests in the food series these questions. So this is just like top of your head, like whatever you got.
Oh God.
Here's first one. It's a hard question, admittedly, and you'd probably answer differently like 2 hours from now. But for now, in this hour, if you were forced to only eat one dish for the rest of your life, that you get one, what would you pick?
I would pick pepperoni pizza.
Oh, you're not the only one who said that.
I love sandwiches, but like that's like my cheat meal.
Yeah.
From sandwiches, from fancy stuff, from all the fish and veggies we eat throughout the week. When it's like Friday night or Saturday, and it's like to the point with the side of wings, some ranchy, little ranchy for dippings. Both things both things will be
all
dunked.
in the ranch. Yep.
Everything in the ranch, obviously, like 2 carrots, maybe, with the celery.
Cute.
Just
it's
cute.
Cute.
Just to get my riboflavin in.
Sure.
And then, and like to me, I don't know about you. It's a genetic thing. My father has it too. We sweat when we eat. Like it's not even just spicy foods. Vinegary, like ketchup makes me sweat. Okay. Always has.
It's just the act of eating it.
It just like does something to my pores. It brings it all out.
That must have been great during dating.
Oh, how about being at the lunch table?
Just
not only I was like the only kid
right there.
Well, I was bringing in individual baggies in my lunch bag of turkey sandwich ingredients. The mustard was on the side, the lettuce, the cheese.
Of course,
I'd have to wrap the bread in foil because I would pick up the plastic flavor on the bread if I put it in a plastic Ziploc bag.
Wow.
So here, Husky Jeff unfurling a whole smorgasbord at the table, sweating, building a sandwich. Do you know, I didn't have my first kiss till I was not even kidding.
What?
17 years old because of these factors.
Oh,
look at me now.
Road to hoe. Who's laughing now?
Who's laughing now? Now
Seriously.
Everybody wants to smooch
Make out with you.
Just yum, yum, yum. But yeah, sweating when I eat because mustard hits me too, man. Ooh,
it goes right there.
Oh, so I'm
I start to. You can't do without it.
I love it, but
I'm not going to live in a world without mustard. So
that would be my meal.
I don't
know how he got to my makeout record, but
we kind of took a little left turn there. But okay, so how about this? When you're at home and we're going to just say that takeout or restaurant food is not available to you.
Okay, great.
But you're too tired to cook. You're over it. You've had it. You've had a day, but everybody needs to eat food. What's your go-to?
To order?
No. You've got to make it.
I have to make it.
But you do not, we're not going an hour-long prep here. You just,
all right, I'm going to tell you.
It's going to be down and dirty.
A ribeye,
Oh, yeah, it's so true. It's so fast.
Just a salt and peppered, reverse seared, if you will, charred ribeye with you got butter in the fridge.
Yeah,
you got
so easy.
Herbs. You make a little compound. I mean, I know it's like putting butter on a steak. Very indulgent, but to me, and if I can get in there, some sort of blue cheesy,
yes,
iceberg based, wedge salad, chopped salad with just tomatoes, blue cheese, and this might skeeve you out.
Yeah,
tons of anchovies.
No, I love anchovies. Who doesn't?
So I just want to me that's with a glass of red wine. I mean, I know this is like I just constructed a pretty elaborate meal. I don't know if I answered the question correctly.
I don't know if you know about down and dirty, what that actually means. But
down and okay. So this. Hold on. Can I change my answer now? Because
you can, but I will say that a ribeye is not hard. If you do not want to spend a lot of time in the kitchen, it is fast.
Yeah,
it can be really, really fast. But like that also takes a little bit of work. I'm saying when you were like, let's get the hell out of this kitchen. Like, how quickly can I just put food in my mouth hole and y'all's?
We always have mortadella in our fridge.
Oh, yeah.
And if it's not mortadella, it's bologna, right? It's like Italian bologna. So anybody listening, like for me, a fried, again, American cheese, gooey, crispy, it's a bundle of the bologna, shaved bologna, a bundle of it. And I just throw it on a pan really quick. Flip it once when that gets in the interior still soft, right? And then I drape it in American cheese, white bread, whatever bread I have. And then I put barbecue chips on top.
That's the perfect answer.
I know.
Like inside the sandwich, the chips.
Oh, natural. Like way too many to the point where you're like, you're risking vertical chip bite downs.
Sure, I've done that. So much
with a robust restaurant tortilla chip. Yeah. I mean, I have impaled
you'll
myself.
Slice it open. Yeah, you'll need some stitches.
Honestly, got blood on the chip.
That's such a good answer.
Right? Ooh, that smell too. That's like fat.
Yeah, fried bologna is so underrated. It's so people are mean about it. They malign the fried bologna, and I'm like, you tell me when the last time you had one, because if you ate a fried bologna sandwich right this minute, you'd want one every day for the rest of your life.
You're going to start investing in the bologna stocks.
Thank you.
Because you know it's going to blow up because you're going to help it grow.
It's just facts. Yep. Last question.
Yes.
I ask everybody this question. Everybody gets this every series. And you can, you can answer it however you want. It can be serious or it can be like absurd. So whatever, we get it all. Here's a question. What's saving your life right now?
Ooh. Oh, wow. Wow. It's weird, right? Because I'm in this place, I'm home. I'm not home, so I feel like displaced.
Totally.
So there's things here, comforts here, like working out is very important to me. I do, and that kind of saves me in the mornings and makes me work. But I would say my podcast that I've started at the beginning of almost a year ago that I do with just my sister, me and my little sister, and we have my mom on, and we have my brother on. We have a neighborhood bartender. But for me, it's like I have full control. It's like the only thing I have full control over in my life, right? Yeah. I don't know when they're gonna, my shows can be canceled any day. Mm-hmm. My book could be not sell, right? Yep. And it's at the mercy of an editor and a publisher. Totally. I have a line of meats and peppers and all this stuff. Nobody can buy them. And there's people packing them and people screw up all this podcast is safe because it gives me an outlet to be my truest self, I believe.
Yeah.
Like the most irreverent, slightly naughty version of, the me. Mm-hmm. And it gives me an outlet for my music because I write songs, sometimes 3 songs, at least one new song each episode. Yeah. So I, music is a huge, it's more than a hobby for me. I've been doing it forever. So it taught me to record music properly and pick up other instruments I have been playing, like the keyboards and the bass and stuff, and like learn programs on the computer. I don't know. It's been I got this basement studio that I built, and it's like, it's my everything. It is my safe space. I miss it terribly right now. I mean, I'm talking in a USB mic right now, but for me, it's just, and my sister's so good at it. And this was her job. She's a Teamster, actually. That's what we do. So she was working on films and everything, and she was out of work, and I presented her with this, and she's so great I don't know. My family loves it, and they're part, and they get mad at me. They're like, well, you haven't had me on in a couple of weeks.
Totally.
I guess, right?
Yes.
It's like, I guess my mom got so mad. When is this airing? I don't want to give anything away.
The day before your cookbook comes out. I know.
So you got to go back and listen to the Come On Over. It's called Come On Over, the same as the book, which came first. The book came first because it took too long. But we did an April Fool's episode
Oh, nice.
And it was my sister's idea. And so we went through this list of, we just called everybody in my family with these outrageous. And it's not, we recorded it 2 weeks ago. So it was kind of mean. Yes. Like I told my dad, my dad is like, my dad wants to be a star so bad. I mean, he is so happy I made it. I mean, he was so the first one in line at the ticket window from a school play. You know what I mean? He was there. He loves it. And he's this big mangled guy from Taylor Street, Chicago. He's 6'2". Sure. He's got meat hooks for hands. You know, you would think he'd be like, this kid, but he loves it. And so we called him first and we said that the network wanted to do a Discovery Plus show with him called Jeff and Gus and Jeff Eat the Midwest. And he's like, oh man, what are we doing? And it was heartbreaking telling him it was just a joke. And then we called my mom and we convinced her that my son was stuck in a well. He fell in a sinkhole in the 15 minutes, Jen.
No, I'm so mad at you right now. We are in a fight. Minutes. I cannot believe you did that to your parents.
15. And so now it became, you got to listen to this episode because it's so funny. And then my wife she's at the nails. My mom's at the nail salon. Our best friend is at the nail salon. Yes. Word trickles down. And then I got my wife pissed at me because she thinks she can't find Lorenzo and he's in a well. I had her going.
A well? What in the world?
My sister's like, why aren't you sticking to the well? I'm like, we got to stick with the sinkhole, So I managed to work in well a couple of theirs, but like the sinkhole was because the weather was been so bad and we had so much
happening.
And then when she found out, she
pissed.
So pissed. Oh, and she's like, I'm never going to be on the podcast again. But every time we call her, she answers. She knows when we're recording it. And then she hated that. She was like, the songs are too harsh. They're too much heavy metal.
Yeah. You made her mad.
So I made her mad.
Yeah.
And then I changed all the songs and made them the most tenderest. Because it'd be like, Come On Over has a song. And then How Was Your Week This Week had a song. And What Are You Watching This Week? Yeah. I made them like harpsichords and cellos. And every lyric was like, tender mama.
No.
I love you, mama. Everything was like, I love my mom.
Pretty funny.
So it's like we created this world and it's growing quick. You know what I mean? It's growing nicely, but we've done 50 something episodes. Yeah. And it's, as you know, it's not just like you record something and put it out. I mean, it takes
it's work.
A lot of work.
Yep.
And it's like one more thing I probably can't fit in, but I love fitting it in. Like
then
I have my first drink, like I don't drink during the week. It's like my rule.
Yeah.
But man, when we record on Fridays, I make sure we record our podcast on Fridays. I have my first beer on Friday. And then it's like, I don't know.
I love it.
Isn't it? I don't know.
Yes. I love it. I love it so much. I like when we can like helicopter up from a 25,000 foot view and look down at the scope of our work and be able to point to the things that like give us the most joy, like bring us the most life and go, that's dumb to try to squeeze into my schedule, but I'm doing it. Something else will go before I get rid of that.
I got no commercials yet. Like I'm trying to monetize it. I'm figuring all that out. We're not part of a network. So we're just doing it. It's like I pay my sister a fair rate and nothing's coming back. Like I'm making zero, but it's giving me, I'm scratching so many itches at once for me. I love it.
Good for you. I'll make sure that everybody has the links to everything and just congratulations on your book. It's just exciting. I'm so excited for you. And it's going to be really fun for you to start getting feedback from your readers on this because it's going to be different. It's different from the way in which they know Jeff and this and this avenue. This is even more so. You're going to be on their shelves now in their kitchens. And that is special. Like that's rare air. So well done, you.
Thank you. Thank you for this. You're the best. This is the best podcast I've ever done. Thank you.
Whatever.
I mean it though.
I'm a
You're awesome.
Fan. You are too.
I'm a sincere fan. I mean, honest to God, you're really good.
Okay. Well, so are you. And so thanks for coming on the show. And I'm just cheering you on from Texas. Whatever zany thing you come up to do next, I'll be like,
I'm just going to start like building boats or something.
Why not?
I don't know. Why not?
You chart your own course. You're doing
meats, peppers, books, podcast. I'm like, I don't know. I still find time to just do nothing. So I think that's another important thing.
I do too. Okay. That's it.
Thank you.
So happy to meet you.
Pleasure's all mine. Bye, Jen.
Bye, Jeff. That's it. Isn't he fun? He's as fun as you think he is. He's as fun as you would ever expect him to be when you watch him on TV. Just delightful. So I'm going to have a link up for you for everything Jeff, all things Jeff. Obviously his cookbook, which is out tomorrow, and all his social media accounts and all of his shows, everything. He is really, really fun to watch. He's really fun to listen to, really fun to connect with. So you guys give Jeff a lot of love. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so happy you're enjoying the food series as much as we are. It's been fun to watch the community rally around our food peeps in this series. And these are all people that you love so much. And so it's delightful for me to get to host them and bring them to you. Yay. Thank you for subscribing and tuning in and all that good stuff. Thanks for sharing these episodes with your people as well. Laura and Amanda, the whole team and I are so grateful. We love you guys. See you next week.